Welcome back to the SS Maynerd YouTube channel. Another pipe update. All these pipes you see sitting here in front of you serve their purpose quite well. They work very well. If you haven't put two and two together yet, they're all corncob pipes. Amazing. Also, they're all from the same manufacturer. This one is an X on the bottom. That indicates that it was a second, and this actually came from one of those pipe grab bags from Missouri Meerschaum. Very cool, totally functional pipe. There was something wrong with it. I'm not exactly sure what. Other than the first thing that I noticed that was wrong with it was the clear coat finish that they put inside or on the outside of the pipe. They also put on the inside, and that's primarily why I haven't really used this one too much. You can't really see in there because of lighting, but the very bottom of the bowl you can still see some of the yellow varnish that has not burned off yet. I absolutely hate that. I hate it when a company puts a clear coat finish or stain inside the bowl. I think that that is the dumbest shit you could ever do on a smoking pipe. If it's a novelty piece that's going to hang on the wall, of course it doesn't matter because it's just something to look at. But if you're actually going to use the damn thing, don't fuck it up right out of the gate. Jesus, get with the program. Use your brain once in a while, you guys finishing these things. Fuck. Okay, so the real update here is in my last pipe video, I kind of mentioned these two pipes here. They're both decent pipes. They smoke good. They smoke exceptionally well. They're plaster filled. They're clear coated. Awesome. This one did not have any finish inside the bowl. This one did. I took the finish out of this before I used it. No problems. It's just an extra step you gotta look for. You know, it's one of those little things you need to look for. Once you've been initiated into the pipe world, you find out whether you can do something about it or not. If you can't do something about it, well, then smoke it out and deal with it, I guess. Being me, I'm fairly mechanically inclined, so I have all kinds of tools and gadgets and know how to do things. So I go ahead and clear that stuff out if I feel like I have time or the need or want to do that. And I found it definitely makes a huge difference in how the pipe overall smokes, straight from the get-go and further on down the road. If you clean that finish out, the things smoke way better for their entire life, is what I think and feel. Okay, so now to get to it. So these two pipes I got on Christmas Day this year, Christmas Day 2017. It's now like what the I don't know. It's mid-January, right? They're plaster filled. And this one I probably use more than the other. And now it's not going to want to focus for me. Anyways, right in, let's see if we can get that to focus up, not wanting to do it. Let's try this. Yeah, that's better. So, I'll just lay this here, and if the camera will pick it up, you can see separation here, right at the edge of the cells. And there's a lot of plaster in this area, a lot. It's very thick, very deep. There's separation here, there's separation around the stummel. This is the stummel. Right into where it goes into the cob. There's separation there, well, a gap, I guess. Maybe a fatigue fracture from thermal and moisture stress from smoking the pipe. You know, you smoke tobacco, it gets hot, obviously, right, because you're smoking it. But it also, you know, moisture is released from that tobacco as it's burning. That's part of the process. Also, I live in a pretty humid area where temperatures don't ever get really high, so the humidity is always in the air. and it's always floating around. It's always pretty cold, so we got a lot of thermal change. You know, we're pulling cold air through a hot tobacco coal bed. The pipe starts to get warm gradually, but it's cold on the outside from the ambient air and also extremely moist. Well, a buddy of mine who smokes pipes about as frequently as I do, has way more pipes than I do. He's almost more of a collector nowadays. I probably should have never got him into that. It's going to run him into the broke house buying new pipes all the time. But every one of his filled pipes, and this was why I stayed away from filled pipes for so long, was because every one of his pipes develops these cracks too, and over time it starts, oozing tar out to the outer skin or outer layer of the pipe. Currently, about 2.5 weeks into the year, I'm getting these cracks that are starting, and it's just separation of the cells, and I think it's due to the, you got your corn cob, and then your plaster, which are two different densities, two different materials. They're totally different. There's nothing similar about them. And I think that as each one absorbs moisture, it causes some different expansion and contraction rates, and that's probably what starts the cracks. So not real happy about that, but I expected it. I figured that was going to happen. So we got a big crack coming along here, and it actually extends out into this region. Same with on the top, it goes a long ways. A really, really small crack. And then there's also cracks throughout that have started to develop that are really small, and the camera's not going to pick those up because of the contrast, but there's some in that area that are starting. And at this point, those are sheerly cosmetic. It's not leaking through. I can, cover the bowl while it's lit and blow through it, blow through the stem or the bit. This is the bit. I can blow through that, which in turn applies positive pressure to the bowl, the stummel, the whole inner chamber with my thumb over it, and I don't get any leakage. So that's good, but it's something to watch for and keep an eye on and monitor. This was the other filled pipe, and this one I don't use as much just because of the luck of the draw, really. Let's get this back. There we go. There's some very, very small cracks forming, but I mean, they're so small I had to look at this thing for a long time to be able to see them. So that one over time will more than likely inevitably do the same thing. But at this point they're cosmetic, and like I said, my buddy who smokes these filled style pipes a lot more often than I do. He has a lot more than I do. They all start to bleed through to the outside. They start turning black. They start leaking. You can put your thumb over the bowl and blow into the bit, and you can see little traces of smoke coming out of those cracks. And that's kind of an issue, and I think it's, it's a shame because these are nice pipes. They smoke good. The exterior of the bowl stays cooler for longer, so that's cool. This pipe is oldest pipe I've got, most durable pipe I think that I have, and it has a massive crack. Let's get that paper back here so I can show you that. Focus, maybe, if you would please. Anyways, it's got a really big crack right here, really, really big. But again, it's cosmetic. It doesn't go all the way through. This pipe was knocked out of my mouth while I was smoking it and shooting a compound bow. Probably not the smartest idea, but I had it, on one side of my mouth, shot a couple of arrows, went to the target, pulled them out, came back, put the pipe back in my mouth, not thinking about the pipe, but more so thinking about the bow and that activity, trying to be safe. Had the pipe on the wrong side of my mouth, hanging out. The bowstring clipped it on this side, launched downrange quite a ways, got stomped into the mud and frozen outside overnight. I went back and found it in the daylight because it was just starting to get dark and I couldn't see it. But this pipe still smokes good. I used this thing, had used this thing solid for over a year, smoking it at least a dozen times a day, every day. It has a hardwood bottom, and I had no issues with it. I retired it because it was, you know, old, and I didn't want to smoke it until it was destroyed. But it developed this big crack after some time, and it's got some other smaller ones, but that's about it, and that's a pretty substantial crack, but it doesn't go all the way through. Like, it's really close up here at the top at least. Still good to go though. But my friend, with many pipes like this, always develops these cracks pretty shortly after he starts using them, and then within a couple months they start bleeding and leaking tar and tobacco juice out the sides of them, and then they're so bad you can't even hang on to them without your hands becoming totally covered in that stuff. At this point, I really don't think that the plaster fill is worth the extra cost or even the extra hassle for them to manufacture. I think that's more of a cosmetics deal. Some people want a smooth finish pipe. They don't like the open cell type, and that's fine. You know, it's great. Just be aware that, I mean, that does happen. This is another pipe that I bought because I thought it was going to be the same as this particular Pride style pipe. This one did not have a hardwood bottom. I have not been able to find one of these with a hardwood bottom that isn't filled with plaster. So, you know, the search is still on, right? This is a Missouri immersion pipe. All these are Missouri immersion pipes. But this one, good smoking pipe. Using this one today for about half the day and set it down and misplaced it for a little while. Good thing I had another pipe in my pocket, which at the time happened to be this guy here. This was a shortstop pipe. Again, open cell cob, but they put a clear coat finish on it. That's cool. There was finish on the inside of the bowl. I scraped that out. I made this big aluminum topper for this, and it goes inside the bowl to hold itself in place, very tight. And then I bored out a wooden dowel so that I could fit a filter in one of these standard stems of various types inside or into the stumble piece of that. And this is just a sleeve. This isn't glued on. This will slip right off. But then here's a little nose warmer mini cob. These are kind of cool too, but again, no hardwood bottom, so you have the pith of that thing, and that absorbs a bunch of moisture and tobacco juice as well, and it will start to leak out the bottom and get all soft and nasty and gross over time. And you know, this definitely like very seldom use pipe, or even a one-time use pipe, or even like a novelty thing. You know, you want to, oh yeah, hey, I need a cigarette, and you smoke pipe and don't smoke cigarettes, so you keep this in your pocket, you hand it to somebody, they smoke it, and you just tell them to keep it, kind of deal. You know, this isn't really a daily user pipe. But quick note about those plaster filled cobs. Expect cracks, and eventually, you know, I would have to say at this point, after reviewing my friend's pipe collection, if you use it on a daily basis and you smoke it more than once a day, don't give it a good rest. You know, if you use it probably more than 3 times a week and get a decent smoke out of it, expect cracks, expect leakage. Keep that in mind. That can happen with these unfilled ones too, but it takes a lot longer because this expands and contracts at the same rate because it's one material. There is no filler, there is no nothing in it. But just wanted to, you know, kind of throw that out there for anybody, you know, getting into cobs or whatever. These are really sexy looking pipes. They smoke great, they stay cooler, they feel good in your hand, they look good, they provide good class to your street appeal, I guess, or curb appeal. But I think that the unfilled natural finish pipes last longer, and I think that they're more durable than the filled pipes. You sacrifice the more finished class look for a more rugged, maybe panhandle type look, but they last longer. They do their job better, I feel, in my opinion. So keep that in mind. Stay safe. enjoy the smoke, enjoy the drink. Have a good night and enjoy life. I'll catch you next time.